Hello, it's namayoheritage. Today it's an exciting topic we have here. We are going to talk about the procedure or the categories of people that are eligible to own land in Zambia. In the previous video, that is volume 1, we talked about how a Zambian person who has an NRC, a national registration card, can own land in Zambia through just applying from the Ministry of Lands. The application is submitted through the Ministry of Lands. Just be on the lookout of that video. Just subscribe to the channel so that you can follow through what we are talking about in terms of the volume, because from volume 1, where we talked about how a Zambian person can own land, we've moved on to volume 2, where we are talking about how a non-Zambian can own land in Zambia. So there are these the few conditions in which the president can give land to a non-Zambians, and these conditions are as follows. Where a non-Zambian is a permanent resident in the Republic of Zambia. So if a Malawian comes to Zambia, obtains a permanent residence in Zambia. They were not born from Zambia. They were born from Malawi, and then they've come to Zambia like to settle. They've got all those papers, like all the legal procedures have been followed, and then they've settled in Zambia. Those people can be given chance to own land in Zambia by the Republican president of Zambia. So another condition in which a non-Zambian can own land in Zambia is where a non-Zambian is an investor. So those investors that are coming out there to come and invest in Zambia, they are given opportunity to own land in Zambia. And the third category or condition in which a non-Zambian can own land is where a non-Zambian is a registered cooperative society or a non-governmental organization or a church can be given land to own, can own land in Zambia. So now, the steps followed at the Ministry of Lands is giving offer letters and the title deed to land. So now, the Lands Department under the Ministry of Lands receives recommendations from other institutions, including local authorities and resettlement departments, to give land to successful applicants. Remember in volume 1, we talked about applications being sent to Ministry of Lands and then they are approved. So this is some kind of another or a follow-through procedure after the applications have been put and then they're sent to Ministry of Lands for further scrutinization, bearing in mind that they are dealing with a non-Zambian here. We're dealing with a non-Zambian here. So now, after those recommendation letters have been received from resettlement department and also from other institutions, successful applicants will be recommended to Ministry of Lands Department, and then the Lands Department will then do the following. The first one, the Ministry of Lands Department, the first procedure the Lands Department would do is to check the list of names who have been recommended to get land and decide whether to approve or disapprove. The second one is it will check if the land is actually available and if there are any other 2 or more people being given the same land. And also they will also check if the plans have been approved by the planning authority. This is supposed to be approved before one starts to do any development on the land. There is also an issue of advice to the surveyor general to give the applicant the number. So after all this is done that we have mentioned above, the Commissioner of Lands will decide to approve or not approve the recommendations. If the commissioner approves the recommendations, there will be a written notice notifying that person that an offer letter has been issued, and then a title deed. After receiving the offer letter, the person who has been successfully accepted will pay annual ground rent and other fees within 30 days. The offer letter also demands that the person who has been given the land must develop it within 18 months, failure to which they risk losing the land or possession of that land that has been given to them. So remember that the commissioner gives the person all rights to land, and these are called surface rights, but not the underground rights, such as rights to minerals, precious stones. Those continue to be controlled by the president for and on behalf of all the people in Zambia. So in our next video, we are going to look at another way in which a person or a non-Zambian can own land through just buying land which was already belonging to another person. What do I mean by saying so? In volume 1, we looked at this Zambian having acquired this land through the Ministry of Lands. Volume 2, we have looked at how a non-Zambian can own land, and then if any of the 2 people we have discussed in volume 1 and volume 2 feels like they want to sell part of it, we will now look at a subdivision part of it, where maybe they want to cut part of the land that they were given to by Ministry of Lands, or maybe they just want to get rid of it so that they can develop the other project, or maybe they can fund another project. So be on the lookout for volume 2, where we're going to talk about search and then how to go about that process. Remember, there's already another video down here in the videos where we're talking about how a person can own land which is traditional, and how another person can own a land which is titled land. So those are just hints. We are going to cementize on the next video, which will be volume 3. Don't forget to subscribe so that each time I upload a video, you will be notified that a video has been posted. And don't forget to share so that every Zambian realizes that there is need for them to own land, and it's their birthright to own land, and they just can't miss the opportunity to own land before it's too late.